So preventing complications, starting with proteins as the primary building blocks of all of our organ systems, including the organs of the baby, right? We need protein. Protein is going to help build the baby's body, the structure, the framework, so the brain, the bones, and the placenta. Daily recommendation of protein is 70 grams. 70 grams can sound like a lot, but I promise if you come up with a plan, and I encourage all of my clients to do this. I sit down with them and we come up with a meal plan together to make sure that they are getting that protein, especially in the first trimester when all of these cellular changes are happening. Even at the microscopic level, you need the protein to support all of these changes and supply your body with energy. So meat is often recognized as the best source of protein, but of course, vegetables are probably one of the better options for proteins, and they're more easily digested. So options for protein include beans, black beans, red beans, pinto, kidney beans, navy beans even, soybeans, lentils, chickpeas, dairy, cheese, eggs, yogurt, goat milk. Now, if you're not a fan of dairy, there are several plant-based options for protein. Most plant-based milks have protein, vitamin D, vitamin A even added to them. So, arguably that can be maybe a synthetic form of your vitamins, but in the long run, I think that it's still worth it if you're not going to be consuming dairy. Grains, amaranth, which is an ancient grain, barley, oatmeal. Oatmeal is a wonderful source of a complex carb. Brown and wild rice, rye, spelt, and wheat, nuts and grains, walnuts. There's actually a, I would have to see if I can find that. There's a picture. There's a picture that I came across not too long ago that states that certain foods look a lot like the body system that they support. And so walnuts kind of look like the brain, and they're very, very rich in healthy fats. So walnuts are good for providing your nervous system, your brain, even the baby's brain with the protein and amino acids. Cashews, pistachios, pecans, pumpkins, sesame, all of the good stuff, soy-based products, and vegetables, your dark green leafy vegetables. Okay. I'm going to go to the next slide. Okay, iron. So iron is one of the most essential nutrients that a growing body needs. Iron is essential for helping to build your red blood cells, maintaining a healthy immune system. Iron helps your body to assimilate the oxygen in your bloodstream. So not only is it good for building your immune system, but it helps you to take the energy from the oxygen and be able to use it, right? So many women of color suffer from iron deficiency, and that can be due to either you're not getting enough iron through your diet, or you have some sort of nutritional deficiency that comes from hormones, your hormones being unbalanced. So women of color tend to suffer from iron deficiency, which can be, which can be very dangerous for the mom and the baby. Daily recommendation for iron is 27 to 30 milligrams. You can get iron from lean meats such as chicken and beef, but of course, non-meat options that are easily digested over here: fruits, apricots, figs, mangoes, and prunes, raisins, peaches, and pears. Here in Georgia, I think, it's probably still the season for our fall fruits, our fall and winter fruits and vegetables. Beans are pretty year round, but seaweed is another source of iron. Seaweed is a source of iodine as well, which is another essential mineral. So if you like the dried seaweed, that's a really great way to get your iron. You can also do sea moss as well. Seafood, clams, halibut, oysters, shrimp. My one warning with seafood is that you're careful where you source your seafood from when you're pregnant. Of course, you want to make sure that it's safe to consume, that it's fully cooked. You don't want to eat any raw seafood while pregnant. But you also want to make sure that your seafood, it does not have a high mercury content. So things like, the name is slipping me right now. There are certain fish that have high content of mercury. So you just want to be careful with that. Veggies, of course, your dark green vegetables, asparagus, avocados, beets, broccoli, green leafy vegetables, and your whole grains. Now, I want to talk a little bit about fortified cereals, because that can be things like cream of wheat or cream of rice or something like that. But in the US, we have our Cheerios and our Fruit Loops, and, yes, they're high in sugar, and that shouldn't be your first source of getting iron, but they are kind of genetically modified to include a threshold of minerals and vitamins. So, if you're in a position where your access to fresh fruits and vegetables, whole foods is limited, then, fortified cereals is probably your next best option. You can also get iron from things like brewer's yeast, molasses, and blackstrap molasses. You'll also get some phosphorus, magnesium, things like that, your trace minerals from blackstrap molasses. Okay, calcium. Calcium builds and protects the bones and teeth. We are building a human from scratch, right? So we need to make sure that our calcium reserve is plentiful. Calcium builds our nerves as well. Calcium works well. It kind of works in tandem with magnesium and sodium to relieve muscle spasms and just to help promote a sense of relaxation. Calcium plays a role in hormone regulation as well. So if you find yourself feeling a little crampy, or especially during the first trimester, feeling tired, maybe a little sore, calcium, making sure that you're getting enough calcium in your diet is a great way. And if you know that you're not eating asparagus, broccoli, your collard greens, you're not eating your fruits and vegetables, okay, then let's look at a calcium supplement. You can start by taking 1,000 milligrams of calcium, or you could even do 500 milligrams of calcium, so long as your prenatal vitamin, which I should have talked about before, but your prenatal vitamin should definitely have a source of calcium in it, at least 1,000 milligrams. Milk and dairy are thought to be the primary sources, but of course, just with everything, your non-dairy sources, including vegetables, dried fruits, nuts, and seeds, your non-meat and non-dairy options for calcium. One more note about calcium. Calcium drives contractions. It drives muscle contractions. So that leads me to labor. We will need to make sure that our body has enough calcium during labor and leading up to labor, because labor is your uterus contracting. Your uterus is a large muscle, very powerful muscle. So we need to make sure that it has the power it needs to continue to push our baby out. Okay, folate. All right, so folate is essential for the development of the brain and central nervous system of the baby. So making sure that your prenatal vitamin has a source of folate in it is going to help to avoid birth defects of the brain and the spine. Folate is essential for red blood cell formation and cellular growth. So let's talk about folate versus folic acid. Folic acid is actually a synthetic methylated version of folate. And folate is just a B vitamin. It's actually B9, vitamin B9. So folate helps our bodies to regulate DNA. Remember, we're building a human from scratch. So all of the DNA expression that's happening in the womb with your baby, folate helps to regulate that. Very, very important. So when we're looking for our prenatal vitamins, you want to make sure that there is folate and not folic acid in the prenatal. Folate is also found naturally in some of our foods. Our dark green vegetables are cruciferous vegetables, which are things like broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus. Brussels sprouts, and our fall greens, fall vegetables, so broccoli, kale, asparagus, avocados, even okra. That's a wonderful source of folate. And our daily recommendation for folate is 400 to 600 micrograms. So it's not a lot, but very, very important that your prenatal vitamin has folate. Here, I have here herbs. If you're into taking herbs, nettles, stinging nettles is a wonderful option to kind of supplement your body with vitamins and minerals. Stinging nettles are very high in vitamin K, magnesium, calcium, folate, phosphorus, all of the trace minerals that are very important for our hormone regulation. Nettles is it's called a tonic, so it's very much a toning, a fortifying, and a very nutrient dense herbal tea for all women, not even just pregnant women, but all women can benefit from drinking a cup of nettles tea in the morning.
Question.
Yes.
Let's say if I have a diet that's really high in greens and I take nettle tea, would that supplement or replace prenatal? Like what I do, I don't take my prenatals every day. But I eat greens.
Yeah. Sorry, was somebody else saying something?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm going to put it this way. If you can make sure that you are regulating your diet and you're regulating your herb intake, herbs are one of those things that you have to be consistent with. And sometimes to get the recommended amount, you need to be consuming it throughout the day, every day. And sometimes we're just not that disciplined. So if you know that you're not that disciplined and you know that, yeah, my diet's good, and I would prefer to not take a prenatal vitamin, then I think that's personal choice. But I would also recommend that if you're going to go that route, that you are actually on a strict herbal regimen, and maybe even consulting with maybe a naturopathic doctor or an herbalist that is going to be able to give you the amounts to make sure that you are meeting your nutrition requirements.
And you might answer this later, but if you have any recommended prenatal brands?
Yeah, let's see, Baby and Me, they have a great prenatal. I believe it's vegan. I would need to see if I'm not going to address prenatals in this particular demonstration, but I'm going to look some up while I'm talking and see what might be a good option. Do you have one that you already have?
I have one. It's
Ritual is a good one as well.
I have one and it's okay, but I somebody was saying like there's brands that are better absorbed, and stuff like that. So
I would say Nature Made. Stay away from Nature Made. Nature Made has a reputation for they're actually sold in Walmarts. They might even be sold in Targets. They're like basic, very, very shelf level prenatal supplements and vitamins in general. They tend to have a lot of additives to them. So I would say stay away from Nature Made. But Nordic is also a good one. Nordic is a great supplement brand. Baby and Me 2, and Ritual. Ritual they kind of pride themselves on being pretty clean. So those are some good options to start with.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Spring Valley as well. Spring Valley, no, don't go with them. I actually tried Mega Food. I forgot. I went from Mega Food to Baby and Me when I was pregnant a couple of years ago. And the Mega Food, I think it might have been maybe brewer's yeast that I had an allergic reaction to. So, it may or may not work for you, but Mega Food is also one that's more plant-based. Okay. Herbs. So herbal remedies can assist with meeting your nutritional needs throughout pregnancy. Operative word here is assist with meeting your nutritional needs. Of course, you need a well-balanced diet to make sure that you are meeting your needs. Herbs that are typically safe for consumption during pregnancy include nettles, oat straw, red raspberry leaf, alfalfa leaves, echinacea, and elderberry. When we're talking about herbs, we have to recognize that herbs are medicine and they should be treated as such. They should be respected as such. And so we can't we can't just take all of the things, even chamomile. Chamomile is one of those things that can be very beneficial during pregnancy in moderation, but chamomile is a relaxant, and we don't want to relax the nervous system so much that you essentially put yourself into labor prematurely. So being very careful with things like chamomile, even your sedatives like valerian root, kava, just the more antispasmodic herbs. Those can kind of have a negative effect on the integrity of your uterus. You need your uterus to stay strong to support the baby. We don't want to cause any muscle contractions too soon. So all of these herbs here that you see here, all of these are nutritive herbs: nettles, oat straw, red raspberry leaf. All of these are going to fortify your bloodstream, support your liver. They're going to support your heart, and give yourself again, vitamins, minerals that you need. So it's of course recommended to check for herbal allergies or contraindications. There are some contraindications medically, whereas I'm just going to use high blood pressure for an example. If you have high blood pressure, there may be an herb that you want to take that is contraindicated for that condition. So you just got to be very careful with taking herbs, especially herbs that are abortifacient. I'm not saying that word right, but they could essentially abort the baby. So just being very careful with your herbs.
Lavender, okay.
Say that again.
Lavender.
Lavender, I always recommend my clients to try and limit their consumption of lavender during pregnancy if you're going to be drinking it. But if you have lavender in the form of essential oil or even like the flower essence, those can be very helpful, so that your body and your aura and your energy around the physical body are still able to take the benefits of the herb. The essential oils can be helpful for like the headaches that you get during the first trimester, but I wouldn't recommend drinking or consuming the lavender internally. Just again, it can be too strong of a sedative. Okay. Water intake. During pregnancy, a woman's blood volume must double to sustain her growing baby. So drinking plenty of water. And I want to put here that water, it can be helpful to view water as a very cleansing agent. But when we're talking about hydration, we also need to talk about fruits. Fruits are what hydrate our body. Fruits have a natural electrolyte balance that allows our body to absorb the water and not just flush it through our kidneys. So water intake via fruits is preferred. And then of course we need to drink at least half of our body weight in fluid ounces per day. So you get you a half, this is a 64 ounce. Yeah, this is 64 ounces. I weigh 120 pounds. So I would need to drink, what's half of 120? 60, at least 60 ounces. So this would be how much I drink every day during pregnancy. So you can get something like this. Of course, look for something that doesn't have too many microplastics. You can even find glass bottles. Using a glass mason jar, they have 64 ounce glass mason jars that you can use if you just want to kind of go the safe route. But drinking half of your body weight in water per day. You can even add something like trace mineral drops. I add this to my water. I add it to my tea. This is all natural, low sodium, and it's ionic. So it allows our cells can absorb it easily. So you mineralize your water. This is magnesium, chloride, sodium, potassium, sulfates, lithium, boron, copper. All of these are essential trace minerals that a lot of times we don't get through our diet. So I add like 10 or 15 drops of these in my 64 ounce of water. And I like the taste of it. Some people don't like the taste of it, but it can be really helpful to help mineralize your water and just help the taste of it. Drinking water can prevent constipation, hot flashes, muscle cramps, bladder infections. And on the severe end of the spectrum, if you are dehydrated, dehydration is one of the leading causes, especially in the summer months, of premature labor. So we definitely want to make sure that we're staying hydrated, of course, during the winter when things are drying out, but especially during the summer. And as our blood volume doubles, we need to be supporting that with water. Okay, gaining weight. I believe this is actually one of the last slides here. But gaining weight, a healthy pregnancy weight gain is critical, and it varies from woman to woman. Of course, depending on your genetics, depending on your diet. Are you eating enough? Are you deficient? Are you not eating enough? Are you eating too much? And depending on your BMI before becoming pregnant, there's different guidelines. So if you were underweight for your height before pregnancy, you can expect to gain around 28 to 40 pounds during your pregnancy. Normal weight gain, if you were at your appropriate BMI, normal weight gain should be between 25 to 35 pounds. If you were overweight before your pregnancy, gaining 15 to 25 pounds. And if you were obese, ideally gaining 11 to 20 pounds. Now, these are just guidelines. We know that you know, Black women, we historically do not fit the mold, right? But underweight moms, of course, you need to be eating. You need to increase your calorie intake. Increasing your calorie intake is also going to help your breast milk come in and be strong for your baby. If you are overweight, then we need to decrease our calorie intake. We're not saying that you need to starve yourself, but we need to make sure that you're not overeating and that you're not eating for two. That is a monomer that is just completely false. The calorie intake for pregnant women is really not that much higher. It's between 500 to maybe even 700 calories more per day, 300 to 500, maybe even per day, depending on your weight. So we're not adding an extra 1,000 or 2,000 calories on top of the 1,000 that we need on a day-to-day. So we're not consuming 3,000 calories a day. And so we just need to be careful not to accept societal norms for what it means to gain weight during pregnancy, because ultimately, again, gaining weight does come with the risk of increasing your blood pressure, increasing your blood sugar, and those could be morbidities during labor and cause complications during delivery. So are there any questions about gaining weight?
No, well, I guess I just follow my appetite for the most part. Sometimes I'll be super hungry, and sometimes I'll be, you know, I think I'm okay in that area. I just follow
Yeah.
my appetite and try to keep it healthy when I am hungry versus binging on junk just cause.
Correct. And it's all about intention. I think that, of course, during that first trimester, our hormones are doing backflips and doing everything, and we want everything. And sometimes we're very averse to foods in the first trimester. So definitely listen to your body. And, you know, if you want to eat, but again, with the intention of eating something that's not going to cause you problems later on. Eating healthy is the intention that you need. Pardon me. So that's it. That's it. Are there any questions?